We are back.
Wow. We did that
Almost insane.
We are back. And we're wearing the same outfits. Every time I just feel like I have to point it out. Episode
I know. I feel like we have to
I'm like, I just need you all to know I didn't do this twice in a row on different days. We are going to be reading some Reddit stories. I found pretty outrageous ones today, or like popular ones. So I feel like we should just get into it.
Let's do it.
Oh my gosh.
What?
We didn't do our Oscar predictions.
Oh, well, this will be way after.
This will be after.
Nah,
Oh well.
it's okay.
I bet Oppenheimer won. Picture.
I hope it won.
And I bet Christopher Nolan won director.
Yeah.
And Cillian Murphy probably won best actor.
Yeah.
And I bet Emma Stone won for best actress.
Yeah. A sweep, probably.
That's my prediction.
I'll
see if I'm right when this episode comes out. Okay, cool. So this one is, am I the problem for planting prickly bushes in my front yard to keep the neighbor kids from my property? Okay, about a week after sorry. That was crazy.
That was so crazy.
Oh my gosh. Okay. About a week ago, I planted a wall of blackberries and raspberries at the two sides of my garden facing the driveway, about 30 centimeters from the edges, so no overhanging branches onto my neighbor's yard. On the other side of the berry wall, I planted lots of stuff like strawberries, tomatoes. To reach the tomatoes and strawberries from the driveway, you have either to go through the fruit bushes or walk up to my house and walk about 2 meters along the side of my house and my windows, and then walk into my actual garden. Not something you really do by mistake.
Yeah. Okay.
So does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool.
No, but
I'm assuming
it's fine.
Because blackberries and raspberries have thorns.
Oh, okay.
So those are on all the outskirt, and it's probably almost bordering their fence.
Oh.
And then they planted strawberries and tomatoes behind, in front of them, closer to the house.
Okay.
So then the only way to get to them is either by climbing through the thorns and thistles or actively going onto that property to get the strawberries and tomatoes.
Gotcha.
So anyway, for about 2 weeks, it was somewhat quiet, but I still found the kids on my driveway every single day. As far as I know, they did not enter the garden, and I hadn't noticed them walking around my house anymore. So
what?
Yeah, I would be pissed.
Kids in the driveway?
I would be so angry. I know there are communities out there that are free for all with kids. No. I grew up in Idaho Falls where it was nobody had fences and all of your yards were connected and everybody was in your backyard all the time. I hate that. Yeah. Personally, I don't need strange kids in my backyard.
If you have a relationship with these neighbors and they're family friends, whatever.
Or they're playing with my kids.
Yeah, but if you're not friendly with them, get out of my yard.
Get out of my yard.
Yeah.
So I figured the bushes were working. About 1 week ago, berry season started, and my bushes are now full of raspberries, and there's lots of strawberries as well. The neighbors noticed. First, I caught the boys picking and eating raspberries, so I told them off and dropped them off at home and told their mom I caught them stealing. And then in parentheses says, that's how I see it, even though it's fruit. And that I'd call the cops next time. She huffed and told me to grow up, but took the boys inside anyway. After that, it was quiet up until yesterday afternoon when I went out for a while and found the dad and his two sons right in the middle of my garden when I returned.
Oh my gosh.
Clearing my bushes and plants. I didn't even confront them. I just called the cops from a distance as they had not noticed me yet and started filming them after making the call. Luckily, 2 cops showed up after 10 minutes or so, and they confronted the neighbor as they were still picking the berries. They told them they were trespassing and that the berry picking was in fact considered stealing and that I could press charges. For the first time, I noticed a bit of fear in my neighbor. He was having a trouble finding his words and kept looking back at his house. They all went inside with the cops, so I just went home as well. After a while, the cops came by and asked me if I wanted to press charges. I asked them if they felt like they had scared the neighbor enough to stay away. I got a small smile and yes about him, but the wife had just kept shouting at them and her husband telling them all off about the little bee that lived next door. I told them no for now, asked them if we'd be allowed to get an extra camera and set up on the wall between my garden and the road to cover the entire front garden and driveway. So now they're getting a camera installed, but am I the problem in this situation? No.
I think that's weird.
No.
If you're not friends, you're not
no.
Even acquaintances, get out of my yard and stop picking my stuff.
Yeah. I like those are like
weird.
The cringiest videos ever on my feed on like TikTok is if it's like a neighbor, like neighbors fighting.
Yeah.
Because I think I would lose my mind.
Yeah.
Like I always see videos of like people putting up a fence and like the neighbor come and ripping it down because they're like, this is my property.
That's so
and
childish.
I'm like, no, like I think it would stress me out to another level.
Yeah.
The fear and anxiety I think I would live being scared in my own home of my neighbor is crazy.
I just think that's so like what gave you the like why do you think you could just go into someone's garden and pick their stuff?
I have no idea.
My parents have this cute little couple that come over and they have asked to like there's like a special tree, I don't know, it's a cultural thing, that they want the plants from or like want the leaves from, and they come and they ask, can we take and I think that's totally fine, respectful,
100%.
but like to just do it without even asking
and
if someone has asked you to not, rude.
I remember too, it's sweet because the people that took your parents like made curry with that and then brought your parents some, like
they
that's
bring
so
them
sweet.
stuff. It's very, sometimes they have been in the tree like just
that I just like would be like, but can you please just like either let's exchange numbers so I know when you're coming and I know there's not random
many
people.
Conversations, so but it is kind of, it feels invasive when someone's in your yard.
I don't
you're like
care for that. My parents this year, it like grinded my gears so bad because I'm like in Arizona and they're obviously not, and so there's nothing I could have done. But like my dog would go, there's a canal behind our house where a lot of people walk it, and basically my dog is like a breeder herder dog. And so she's very territorial and just like she barks a lot when there's like people in her area.
Sure.
And so whenever anybody walks along the canal, my parents will like open the door and let her run out and get all that energy out and like let her defend her place, whatever. Obviously there's a gate, so it's not like she ever comes close to those people walking. But there was this like middle school girl this summer that like sat out in our backyard like along that canal and would like throw things at our dog to like make our dog mad. And when my parents told me that on the phone, I was like, that drives me nuts. So what my parents did was, we have an apple tree back there. And so they put a bunch of rotten apples that had fallen from the tree along the line of the fence, so all the hornets and bees would be attracted to it, so the girl wouldn't sit back there
that's smart.
anymore. I don't know if it worked, but it's genius. I'm
that
like,
is pretty smart,
But then like, like I hate hooligan. Like I don't know what it is. I hate hooligan
like,
teenagers.
Just being rebellious.
And I think she like
of it.
flipped off my parents or like yelled obscenities at my parents, which is just.
It's one thing like because kids are dumb and if they're doing dumb stuff, but then if you ask them to not and then they continue, that's where I think
and my parents were very nice and they're like, hey, can you please stop? Like you're obviously making the dog mad.
Yeah, exactly.
And no.
Always the first time, like the first occurrence, even like the kids taking the fruit, first occurrence, like, hey, please don't take my fruit.
Like if you want some, maybe come knock on the door and like if I have extra, I would like give you guys some, but
you just like
don't
completely
be up in my space.
Burn the bridge when you go against like what somebody politely asks you to
agree.
Do.
Ugh. No, I don't think you're the issue with this one.
Not at all.
Okay. This one is, am I the problem for walking out of the airport when I saw my husband's mom standing there with her luggage? I, female 30, don't have the best relationship with my husband's mom. Since day one, she tried to make remarks and compare me to her. She then tried to get on my good side and started overly praising everything I do and sometimes even copying me. Like this one time, she literally dyed her hair purple just like mine. And when everyone pointed out how ridiculous she looked, she actually blamed me and accused me of trying to make a joke out of her. So anyways, my husband and I took 2 weeks off of work to go visit some places out of the country. Tourism, in other words. The thing is, I was the one who saved up and arranged for the whole trip. My husband was responsible for booking the tickets. My husband's mom wanted to come along and threw temper tantrums when I told her no. She called, texted, sent people to talk to me into letting her come, even threatened to call the police and make some complaint up to get us to stay if she can't come. My husband said we should just take her, but I told him he was wrong and to tell her about the trip in the first place. He gave me an ultimatum, said that he wouldn't go if she can't come, and I told him I'd gladly call his bluff, which made him take his words back and say, fine, I will tell her to stop it because we won't take her. Things got quieter, suspiciously quieter. The day of the trip came and we got to the airport at 2 p.m. My husband was walking ahead of me and was looking left and right like he was looking for someone. I asked him, but he didn't respond. He led me to the waiting area, and first thing I saw was his mom standing there with her luggage. I froze in my spot. I felt a cold wave washing over me and was fuming inside. She and my husband were hugging. That's when I quietly turned around, started walking towards the exit. My husband followed me while shouting at me to stop. He tried to stop me, but I told him off the harshest way possible. He tried to say I was overreacting and that his mom was there anyway, and I should let it go and not mess up the trip for us. I told him he and his mom could still go and that I was going home. I went home and sobbed into my dog's fur for several minutes. Turned out he booked her a ticket without me knowing. An hour later, he came home yelling and raging about how pathetic and spiteful I was to walk out and go home and ruin the trip last minute. I told him he caused this to happen. He said that I was being so hard on his mom. It's ridiculous. I refused to fight anymore, but he kept on berating me, then called my family to tell them that the trip was canceled and that it was because of me. My family said that I shouldn't have ruined it for myself and should have sucked it up and done my best to enjoy. Did I overreact?
Ooh, man, family drama.
I don't think she did.
I feel like she doesn't have an advocate. Like, I feel like she doesn't have anyone.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely feels like everybody's against her.
So I feel like in that case, sometimes you become like ultra defensive and then feel like everyone's like, just do the, I feel like there's some deeper issues.
There's definitely more problems going on, probably.
I think with, first off, like the mother and the son, like there's something weird. Whether maybe she's, I don't know if there's like his dad's in the picture or not, but like maybe she's like just having some issues.
That's true.
Tough time letting go of like, or wants her to be in proximity to her son.
This could actually, that's an interesting thought. Like if she's a widow, is it okay?
Like,
but if she's like just annoying,
I don't want to like justify it, but like maybe like that's why I think there's like probably some deeper pain that she's going through and like needing that connection in her life, which would be a conversation between the son and the mom. Yeah, like that's his job to be like, yes, I'm married, I have a wife who's my priority. Like, you are my mom, but like this dynamic, we need to like figure it out because But I think that relationship they need to have a conversation in that relationship before the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law can go anywhere. Really, do anything.
Build the bridge.
So I think it should be on the husband to kind of help regulate that first but then the daughter-in-law and the mother-in-law could maybe work towards something. But sometimes that takes time. Yeah. Especially when there's been broken like trust there.
I feel like the mother-in-law sounds like she's an issue in and of itself. Respectfully. Like, she needs to figure out why she's so needy almost. Yeah. Like I get it. Maybe if she like, okay, fine. If she's lonely and like wants to go on a trip and like doesn't have anyone else, that's one thing. But then if you're going to go as far and be like, I'm going to call the police. Yeah. So you're actually not allowed to board the plane. Call in like, I don't know, a threat. Extreme, very like, extreme. Okay. Yeah. It's like those are two different scenarios in my mind. And then if my husband, I think that's where I would say she's not. If my husband did all of that behind my back, knowing full well I wasn't going to be happy about it. Yeah, I don't think that was. Here are the divorce papers. Respectfully.
That's pretty rude to like go behind her
Like
back.
he schemed the whole thing.
Yeah, just to get what him and his mom wanted.
Yeah, like you schemed the whole thing, and
Mhm.
obviously also you came home yelling at me,
Mhm.
not understanding why I'm upset. Like
Yeah.
if this was a trip that the two of them were supposed to take, I'd be irritated, but they definitely need to work on their mother-in-law, daughter-in-law sort of relationship,
Yeah.
because if that's a strained relationship, it does feel
Mhm.
like a really hard time. Like you're always going to be in a
Yeah.
rough spot.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, the husband being put in between the two
Mhm.
sucks, but like you do need to stand up
Yeah.
for your wife and not lie and scheme behind her
Exactly.
back to like try
Yeah,
and
like,
get your mom's way and your way.
there is, but I think it sounds like the husband and the wife maybe aren't in the best of
Yeah.
place. So he's not like wanting to like
Yeah.
put her as a priority, which sucks, and that's really unfortunate. But that's probably one of the underlying like issues to cause the whole problem,
I
because
agree.
if he really like wanted to stand and fight for his wife, like he probably wouldn't have gone
Yeah.
behind her back, because that's pretty,
Yeah.
that's not good.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's do the next one. So I don't necessarily think you were the issue there.
No, I think it's a really sucky situation though.
Yeah.
On
I think-
all accounts.
I think that really sucks for you. Okay. This one's kind of fun. Am I the problem for switching to regular milk to prove my lactose intolerant roommate keeps stealing from me? Me and two other guys share an apartment together, and we split all the bills. The only thing we don't split cost on is groceries. Everyone is in charge of buying their own food, and we don't touch whatever doesn't belong to us in the fridge. We put our names on everything so no one gets mixed up. The issue has been going on for almost a year, and I'm sick of it. One of my roommates, keeps stealing my food. I get home from work, and containers with my leftovers are sometimes missing. They have my name written on it, or my stuff finishes too quick. My gallon of milk, for example. I buy almond milk because I like the taste, but it seems to finish after a week, even though I've only drank once or twice.
Ooh.
That sucks. I confronted R about this lots of times, and that's caused a lot of arguments. He outright denies it and tells me I'm crazy, even though it's so obvious. My other roommate and I carpool together because we both work the same early morning shifts around the same area, so I know it's not him. It's always after we get back home, and R is already left for work when I notice my food's gone. My roommates also had a similar problem, but not as often as I do. I'm guessing because R doesn't like what he buys. The funny thing is, R buys a lot for himself and is even more stingy about his food. He will literally point out what's his when he comes back from grocery shopping and tells us not to touch it. Last week, my milk was nearly empty again, and I got fed up. I went to the liquor store and bought regular dairy milk. What a weird detail to include that's where you bought dairy milk. I drank what was left of my almond milk and refilled the gallon with the one I bought. This was to catch/prove R is the one stealing, since he's lactose intolerant. The next day, Saturday, we get back from work and R is pissed. He yelled at me that he was stuck in the bathroom for 40 minutes because of my milk. He was using it to make a shake. I only responded with,
No.
So then you're the one who's been stealing.
The audacity of him to be mad about it. I'm fuming for this guy.
He freaking exploded. Yeah, he admitted he was sometimes drinking my milk and eating my food, but he was more mad that I switched milk than the fact that he was caught. I told him I wouldn't have done that if he just stopped taking my stuff from the fridge, or at least told the truth instead of trying to make it seem like I was making it up. My roommate backed me up and thought it was kind of funny he got payback for stealing from us. It's a little tense right now, and my roommate told me R is trying to convince him to agree to kick me out. Little does he know, we both are looking for somewhere else to move because we are sick of his crap. I told some buddies what happened, and if you think I was a jerk for it, I feel like I'm not in the wrong here. Was I the issue, and did I take it too far? No, absolutely
not at all.
Literally not whatsoever.
Not at all.
No, I can't wrap my brain around why you wouldn't do that.
I think that was pretty smart, honestly.
I think it's genius. I wish, if I was in that situation, I don't think I would have come up with it.
Roommate stuff is so hard. Like, I feel like
is.
roommate issues are tricky because, like, but it sounds like if no one was talking about anything, no one was confronting anybody, maybe that would have been, like, for your first like attempt. For your
first one to like confront the situation.
After talking with after doing all that confrontation and it's still happening and he's lying about it.
Yeah.
I am all for that, I think.
I agree. It's not like you're going to be friends with him.
Yeah.
That bridge is pretty much burned, I would think, at this point, if he keeps lying to you about it.
Much. It is really infuriating when, because I think a really important thing when you have roommates is, to communicate about the boundaries. What are we sharing?
Yes,
because when you don't, because I've been in situations where you don't, and then it's kind of, awkward, oh.
Yeah. Are
we sharing this? Are we not? But when it's all laid out there, I'm totally good with you guys using these things, but let's not, let's all do our own food. That's cool. Let's.
Yeah.
So sounds like they had good communication about that. So the fact that
he lied about it.
And he was blatantly going against the boundaries that they set.
Yeah.
I think is his biggest mistake.
No, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, I'm just so confrontational.
Yeah.
Or just maybe just having bad experiences with roommates in the past. Going into it being I get my own food.
Yep.
Don't eat my food and I won't eat
yeah.
I don't want to share food. Mm-hmm. Because then I think it's because probably growing up with brothers too.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I was if I don't eat all of the chips now, I won't get any of the chips.
Yeah.
So it becomes a competition in my brain to make sure I get my share of chips that we cohesively bought together.
Yeah.
Otherwise, and so I just knew from the start I was I never want to do it. I'll feel pressured to eat faster or something.
I started in college, but then my best friend and I, we became so in sync that we would grocery shop we did cooked the same we would do, we always had a third or a fourth roommate. So it got awkward because we would be making dinner. I had this one roommate, bless her heart, and we would be making dinner and whatever, and she's comes out in the kitchen, it's oh hey, and then it was kind of awkward because I felt bad to be oh we're making this, do you want some? Every time she would say yes, and we would just cook for her.
I hate that.
Yeah, every time she would say, "Oh, sure, I'll have some."
No, that would drive me nuts. I don't like that. No, just get your own food.
I know.
Okay. This one is, am I the problem for refusing to pay for my sister's husband's surgery with my inheritance / college money?
What?
I just love how unhinged some of these are.
Yeah.
I'm my life could never be like this.
What?
Okay, my sister, female 27, and I, 18 female, lost our dad a year ago. He was my only parent. Mom was never in mine or my sister's life. Dad left money for me and my sister, and she used hers to get new cars and renovate her house. I live with my aunt right now because my brother-in-law didn't let me stay with my sister. So already great. That sucks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I'm planning on using my inheritance money to pay for college tuition. I've always wanted to be a doctor, but I haven't decided what I want to do yet. My sister and I haven't been close. It started after she got married to her chronically ill husband, who was allowed to make backhanded comments about my dad and mock his illness and make a scene at his funeral only because he's ill and shouldn't be held accountable for his behavior. I've distanced myself, but my sister kept visiting a lot lately, venting about my brother-in-law's condition. He's been in and out of the hospital for heart problems and in need for surgery. She brought up my inheritance money several times, but I ended up cutting the conversation. She then straight up asked if I could help pay for her husband's surgery, and she paid back in less than a year. I felt uneasy because if I give her money from my inheritance, which is a large amount, then there's no guarantee she'll pay back before it's time to apply for college. I'm taking a year gap, but I know my sister can't pay back that much, and I felt I was risking my future. I refused to help, and she had a meltdown at my aunt's house, calling me heartless, cruel, with no empathy. She said that her husband's health should be a priority, and I needed to help because education is nothing compared to someone's health, and asked if I'd be happy to see her as a widow and my nephew with no father.
Oh my gosh.
My aunt suggested others pay, but most of them cut my sister and her husband off. I argued that her husband's poor health isn't my fault after she kept blaming and guilt-tripping me. She kept crying, and although my aunt decided to stay out of it, she said that I should be prepared for permanent damage in my relationship with my sister if I don't help her now. She's been sending texts and pictures of her family telling me this is what I was saying.
Oh my God. So manipulative.
A happy, healthy family with a healthy husband and father. I cried and felt like I was being selfish, not a good aunt and not a good sister. I asked my friend and he said let them sell the cars and all the luxurious stuff they bought to afford the surgery and warned me if I give them money, I'll never get it back. So am I the issue? No. Honestly. Sell your car, sister.
Yeah. I hate the way the sister's going about it.
Yeah.
Like, if it was a different conversation, like, maybe.
Yeah. Or, like, if that husband had tried to build any sort of relationship with his sister-in-law
exactly.
at all.
If he wasn't being a jerk.
Yeah.
And the sister wasn't being so manipulative.
Yeah.
And passive-aggressive. Then I think, yeah, maybe you could be more open to it. But the way they're acting? No. But I think that is a good point. She does have to prepare for, like, complete.
Yeah, I do agree. Yeah.
So that's totally up to her. Like, if she, whatever. But I don't, like, being guilted and manipulated into giving money is the worst place to be because it's not your choice in giving the money.
I just think, sell the car first and then get back to me. If you still need money. But, like, look at all the stuff you own right now.
Yeah.
And
that'd be really frustrating to, like, I don't know what their situation is, like, in terms of finances, but to look and them having all this, like, luxurious stuff.
I'd be like, no. All those not my fault. You blew your inheritance when you know your husband is chronically ill.
They sound like the worst. They sound like the worst. I'll say it.
I don't like them.
No. I'm sorry about your illness.
Yeah.
I really am. I feel bad, but be nicer about it.
Yeah. Also, my dad died, and you won't let my little sister live with us. He's like, no.
Yeah.
I think that's, like, enough of a reason I wouldn't give my money. I'm like, the guy's been nothing but mean to me.
He's being stingy with me. So.
Yeah. He doesn't talk to me.
Yeah. Well, and she, like, it's not like she's just like, oh, well, I want to go travel the world. Like, she wants to go to college to, like, get a job, you know? Like, she's being, like, wants to do a good thing with it.
If she was like, I want to buy a fast, luxurious car, I'd maybe be like, okay.
I'll invite you guys on my boat.
Yeah. But, like, she's like, I actually just trying to go to school.
Yeah. So
no. I think it makes sense.
I
personally.
Do too. I totally do.
Whatever. All right, should we do one more?
Yeah.
One more. I am a high schooler with a weekend. I need to read the title. Am I the problem for pretending to get fired when customers get a temper with me? I love it. I am a high schooler with a weekend job at a coffee shop. My coworkers who work the weekends are James, the owner's son. He goes to my school. He's a shift manager, but that's not like a real formal thing. He's a friendly guy. Danielle, a college student who sometimes works weekends too. So sometimes, just the three of these guys. So sometimes customers will come in and just be angry about such little stuff, like literally blow up about nothing. I don't know if they're in a bad mood already and looking for someone to take it out on or what, but it's a lot. Like how sad. So you have to be. I like can hear the teenager writing it, and it's so funny. Like how sad. So you're like how sad. So you have to be a grown ass man taking your anger out on high school and college kids. How sad you have to be to take your anger out. Okay, thanks. So James and I were joking about having a little fun with them and hopefully getting them off our backs. So one day I was at work and some guy was having a temper about how we don't make the coffee hot enough, which I couldn't do a thing about because I gave it to him right out of the machine. So James comes in and was like, "Sir, is there a problem here?" And the guy started ranting at him too. So he was just like, "Oh, this is unacceptable. You're fired."
I love them.
I started acting really sad. Like, no, please don't fire me. My family needs the money. I need this job, please. And he played up being hard and telling me to take off my apron and leave. The angry guy started to backtrack. Like, it isn't that big of a problem. You don't need to fire her over it. I didn't mean it. And James was like, no, we pride ourselves on the best customer service. Of course, after all the drama, I still had my job. We were just acting, and we've done it a couple times now. Whenever a customer will lose their temper at Danielle or I, James will storm in and fire us. And almost every time the person who had come in angry will apologize and say that they didn't mean it. It's kind of satisfying, making people realize their actions may actually have consequences. Anyway, I was telling my friends from school about this, and a few of them thought it was a mean prank to let somebody go away thinking they'd gotten someone who desperately needs the money fired. Am I the problem for this joke?
I think it's funny.
I also think it's funny.
I think that's funny.
I do feel like these people who are so angry.
I think let's not get carried away with it.
Yeah, like,
but people, I sometimes I feel so bad for like service workers because people can be so rude.
So rude.
And like maybe you're having the worst day on the planet, but like your little barista doesn't deserve the brunt of your bad day.
Yeah. So
take a chill pill and relax.
And instead of saying you never make the coffee hot enough, say something like, is there by chance a microwave back there that you could put it in for a little longer because I don't drink it right away and I want it to stay hot for when I need it.
Yeah.
Like there's just so many other ways to go about it.
Yeah, there's literally so many other like
if you have an
I'm
issue.
not against like speaking up if something is wrong. I won't speak up.
Personally, I don't know what that's
personally,
like.
I won't, but I don't think it's bad, but I think it's all in the delivery. And I think getting upset and like having unwarranted anger towards someone is so embarrassing.
I do. I think it's so embarrassing. And honestly, I think those people probably left.
Yeah.
After like seeing that they got someone fired and being like, I probably will not do something like that again.
Yeah. I think it's funny.
So I think it's funny.
I don't think, not to get carried away with it and
I mean,
like,
don't go to mean. Extremes.
But if someone is being like ridiculous and mean, do it. Because I just like my family, we laugh at this all the time. What do you think? You're yelling at the 16-year-old who's taking your order at the fast food place. Yeah. What do you think?
Where do you think this is going?
They're gonna be like, I just work here. Like, I don't know what you want me to do.
This is my third day. I just think of that poor girl at Chili's.
My dad made the hostess cry at Chili's. And
like, this is my second shift.
She's like, this has been the worst week of my life. And I just started this job. Oh my God. We felt terrible. Oh, and like, my dad's not mean.
No.
But he could get a little stern sometimes. And there was like an issue, like he put in, it's so dumb. He put in a reservation like on the app because it was like a Friday or Saturday night. And we got there and they were like, oh, well, this girl's like in high school, like literally doesn't know what's going on. He's like, we put a reservation in on the app. And she's like, oh, well, like we don't really use that.
She didn't know.
She's like, I don't.
The manager, I'm sure, was like, no one ever
does this
on the app.
She's like,
even worry about it.
I don't know how to do that, or we don't use that. And my dad was like, what? And he got a little like mad. And he was like you can't offer that and then not follow through. And now we're gonna have to wait for 40 minutes. And she walked away to the bathroom and then came back a few minutes later, tears, crying. And so we sat in the bar, so we didn't have to wait. But then we compiled a tip for her because we felt so bad. And my dad walked over to her and like took her to the side and was like, I'm really sorry. Like, and then that's when she was like, this is my third day. This is my third day here. It's been a really stressful week. And he felt really bad, but we gave her like a nice tip. And then the manager came over because she thought we were pissed, gave us the whole meal for free.
Yeah, that was a good night.
A wild chain of events.
That was good.
I did feel really bad. I was like, oh my God.
It's just like I partially blame it on the jobs.
Yeah.
These people throw these high schoolers who have never worked at another job ever. And they're like, you'll figure it out.
Deal with the public.
The hostess job at a restaurant sucks.
Yeah.
Because everyone's mad at you.
Yeah. You get the brunt of everything.
And so, yeah, if you're like not trained or like don't usually have someone there with you, on my third day, I would have cried. Yeah. She probably had no idea what the app was.
No.
She's probably like, I don't think we do that here. Oh, Julie's the nationwide app.
My God.
I don't think we have that.
I like cringe when people are mean to like
funny.
service workers.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah.
Like,
people are cutthroat out there.
Yeah.
Like, do you feel so good about being mean to someone taking your order?
It makes me think of I don't know if it was like a 90s TV thing, but it was like, what would you say? Or like, would you say something? And they would like do like a mock scenario where I remember watching one and it was like in a bakery and like this like lady was yelling at the cash register and like saying just obscene things. And it was like, the whole thing was like a reaction to see if anybody in line would like step up and say like, hey, stop.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone did.
I would like to think that I would, but I hate confrontation so much. Like I've had a couple of family members work at Starbucks. And I think coffee baristas like really get the brunt of it. A lot of times because it's like early morning.
Yeah.
People are crabby on their way to work, and my brothers told me stories of like a drink was made wrong and the lady walks up to the bar and just like turns it over and pours it out. I'm like, I hope you feel so good like going into your day because you just did that.
It's not funny. I'm not like encouraging that.
It's just
that's, like wrong. It's like
that's like it's so like, unhinged.
Just ask, like, say like, hey, I don't think
my drink's wrong.
Right. Is there any way we can get a replacement? Yeah. And then while you were saying that story, I thought it was gonna go in the direction of when
What? Of what?
In the office. Dwight Schrute is trying to have a fun last time with Daryl. He throws the shake in the drive-thru.
Oh yeah.
Daryl like stops the car and takes the keys out, and Dwight has to like go inside and clean it
work,
up.
and he has to do a shift there. Yeah.
And then somebody else comes and throws it. Wow, that was really good. I haven't thought of that in a long time.
That's so funny.
Anyway, I don't think you were the problem.
I don't think any of those stories they were the problem.
I agree, but
yeah,
cool.
More power to you.
That's enough. That's enough from us. I hope you enjoy your Wednesday.
Yeah. Thanks for listening with us.
Write a review.
Rate a review.
Rate us.
Follow,
subscribe. Leave a fun comment. A nice comment.
Yeah.
Or a mean one. Go crazy with it. So, thanks. Bye.
Bye.